Good afternoon, and welcome to the Financial Aid EOP chat today. I'm Laura Laporte from the admissions office here at Fulton Montgomery Community College, and thank you for joining us today. Today we're going to be discussing financial aid, as well as the Equal Opportunity Program, also known as EOP. Let me introduce you to our experts that we have today for the discussion. Rebecca Cazacria, she's our coordinator for financial aid. Hey, Becky.
Hi, Laura. How are you today?
Good, good. And Jean Carutas, she's a director of our Equal Opportunity Program. Hi, Jean.
Hi, you guys.
So I'm going to hand it off to Rebecca to get started, and we're going to kick it off with a discussion about financial aid. But before I hand it off to Becky, I just want to mention that if you have questions, your questions are welcome. The way that you ask a question is through the chat function. You simply type in your question, and as Becky and Jean pause throughout their presentation, I'll read your question aloud and get an answer for your question. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Becky.
Laura, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. What we'd like to talk about is what you need to know about financial aid and what you need to know about financial aid here at FM. First off, for those that we'd like to kind of give a little bit of a definition of what exactly is financial aid. Financial aid consists of funds provided to students to help you and your family pay for your education. It comes from several different sources: federal government, New York State government, the institutions. There are also some private sources that you can do some research. First and foremost, we like to look to the federal government to find the largest sources of financial aid. Federal Pell Grants, SEOG grants, work study, student loans, those types of things that you need to complete the FAFSA, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. We encourage you to make sure that you get that FAFSA filed as soon as possible, so that we can determine the most and the biggest awards that you can apply for. The second is the New York State. New York State has one of the most generous programs in the country, the New York State Tuition Assistance, or TAP, and that is a separate application from the FAFSA, and we'll talk about that one after in a little bit. Also, the colleges. Each college has an application for scholarships. We have a very generous scholarship program here at the college through our foundation. Last year, we awarded over $150,000 in scholarships, and that scholarship application is right on our website under the financial aid tab. So we do suggest that you get out there and apply for that. There are lots of different opportunities for students. Some are based on financial needs, some are based on the major you're in, some are based on just your location. So we want to make sure that you apply for everything that you possibly can. But to backtrack a little bit, the first application we do tell you that you must file is the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. That application is online at fafsa.ed.gov. It collects a lot of information about you and your family as far as income and assets, so they can determine a number called the expected family contribution to determine things like the federal Pell Grant and need-based awards like work study. The FAFSA can be filed at any time now. We do suggest that you get that done as soon as possible. It does take 5 to 7 days to process if you file it online. So go on out there at fafsa.ed.gov and make sure that you get that filed. Now, there is also a new way to file the form, and it's your My Student Aid mobile app, which last year we were testing, and we tested it a lot with some students at high school nights. But what we found is that mobile app works really, really well. So we want to make sure that, if you're on your phone or on a tablet, that you don't use the website, but use the mobile app, because that mobile app is pretty spectacular. If you go to your app, whether it's Android or Apple, and just search Student Aid mobile app, and you'll be able to find that. And like I said, it's pretty cool, and we do suggest that you use it. You will need to sign that FAFSA, and the signatures are based on your FSA ID, which is something that you need to get separate from the FAFSA for both you and at least one of your parents, and they will need to be separate emails, separate FSA IDs. And we want to make sure that you use a personal email address. We have found in the past that if you're using like a school email address and the schools turn those off, that if you ever forget your FSA ID, you need to be able to access that email. So please use a personal email, whether you're using the website or the app or anything. When you go to create that FSA ID, please make sure that you're using your personal email. Once we get that FAFSA back, we are able to determine all sorts of financial aid. Like I was saying before, we look to the federal resources first. So your federal Pell Grants, SEOG grants, federal work study, which is a job on campus, which I highly suggest you apply for. Some of those work study jobs can be resume builders. Some of them can actually lead you to a job in financial aid, which is how I got my start. So we do suggest that you apply for the work study. It also determines if you're eligible for certain kinds of student loans, whether it's a need-based loan, which is the subsidized Stafford loan. That's the one you don't pay any interest on while you're in school. And then there's also an unsubsidized Stafford loan. But in order for us to figure out if you're eligible for one or the other, you have to complete the FAFSA. So please make sure that you get that done. Once you file that FAFSA, after you're done with that application, you will be able to complete what's called the New York State Tuition Assistance Program, or the TAP application. You can link directly from the FAFSA to the TAP application. There'll be a line that says you've indicated you're a New York State resident, and you can apply for the TAP application directly from the FAFSA. Now, for those students who are not New York State residents, unfortunately, the TAP application is not something that you can complete. You do have to be current New York State residents or have been in the state for at least a year. But that application is short and sweet. They've taken a lot of information from the FAFSA, and you just have to sign off on it using your New York State driver's license. So please make sure that you complete that TAP application. For some reason, if you do miss the application at the end of the FAFSA, they will email you. So just keep an eye out for your email from hesc.ny.gov. Once you get that email, you can click on that and then complete that application. One of the other big New York State grants is called the Excelsior Scholarship, and I'm sure you've all heard that or seen that on the news. The Excelsior Scholarship is a separate application. You do have to complete your FAFSA and your TAP application before you can do the Excelsior. They have not released the application for the 2021 academic year yet. Please keep an eye on our website and all of our social media posts. Once we know that the application is out there, we will put some information out there so that you know that you can go complete that application. Also, if you go out to the hesc.ny.gov website, you can put your email address in and they will notify you personally when that application opens. So just make sure you visit their website. It's a great website. You know, we do the FAFSA and we do the TAP application and we do the Excelsior application to hope that we can get you as much financial aid as possible. But one of the things that we kind of pride ourselves on here at FM is that we are very affordable. Our tuition and our fees for the 2021 academic year are under $6,000 for a full-time year. So that's, 12 credits or more in each semester. And that covers everything from your tuition and most of your fees at the college. If you are living on campus, we do have housing and room and board fees that we can help with financial aid to help cover those costs. But all in all, we like to say that for a lot of our students, we can get a lot of the tuition and the fees and sometimes the housing covered with federal, state financial aid, and in a lot of cases, our institutional aid. So we want to make sure that you get all of those applications completed and filled out and done. If you have any questions or any problems or anything, you can get a hold of us in a ton of ways. You can email us at finaid, FINAID.mail@fmcc.suny.edu. You can call us at 518-736-3622, extension 8201. Yeah, those are the ways to get a hold of us. So if you need us, just call us. We're here to answer any and all questions that you have. Please remember, and we know that no question is a silly question. And if you don't know what you're asking, or you don't know quite what you need to know, just ask any question. We will get you to the question that ultimately we need to answer. So we would just want to make sure that you know. Please reach out to us if you have any and all questions about financial aid or anything. We're here to help you. We want to make sure we get through this process, especially during this very remote time. We want to make sure that you know that, or that we know and you know, we can do everything we can to get you through this. Are there any questions, Laura?
Becky, that's a great segue, because I do have a question for you.
Sure.
Is there still time to apply for the fall semester for financial aid?
Absolutely. Because the FAFSA in an online version only takes 5 to 7 days, we do suggest that you do it as soon as possible. But yes, there is plenty of time to get all of this done. We've got a couple months. We do suggest that we want to get this done, hopefully a couple of weeks before school starts, but we do have a significant amount of time to get that FAFSA file, to get the TAP application. And if there's any additional information that we need, we have lots of time to do it.
Another question for you, Becky, is if I'm doubtful that I'm eligible for any financial aid, is it still worth my while to file the FAFSA? Should I bother filing the FAFSA? Always,
always, always. We do highly suggest the first time through always filing the FAFSA, the TAP application, the scholarship application. Let us tell you if you are or are not eligible for things. We don't like anybody assuming that they're not, because we've had people who've assumed that they weren't eligible and were eligible for thousands of dollars. So we want to make sure that if, I guess the point is don't assume. Let us tell you. We want to make sure that you've got all the right information, and that you let us tell you. Because even if you're not eligible for a federal grant, you could be eligible for a state grant. If you're not eligible for a state grant, you might be eligible for an institutional scholarship. So just because you might not be eligible for one thing doesn't mean that you're not eligible for other things. So we need to have all of those applications on file to make sure that we've got all of our bases covered.
And another question, a little confusion over which FAFSA application. There's a 2019-2020 application, and then a 2020-21 application. Can you take the mystery out of that, please?
Yeah, very good question. The academic year that you should be filing for the TAP and the FAFSA is the 2020-2021 application.
Okay, good. And if I applied for financial aid, but I haven't heard anything, what's the next best step? What would be the response time, or what should we do?
Okay. For any student who has completed their FAFSA and they haven't heard anything from us, the first thing to do is to try to get into your My Aid account. We do everything electronically here, so everything is on an electronic account called My Aid. We do communicate with students through their official FM email. So once you have your email and you've completed your FAFSA, you can go, we will send you an email with all of the instructions on how to sign into your My Aid account. If you haven't received that email, two things to do. One is to check your spam mail, because if we're kind of not friends yet, or if we've never communicated before, it will probably go to your spam mail. So check your spam mail to see if you've received anything from us. If you've done both, if you've done that and you still don't have an email from us, the best thing to do is either drop us a line, either give us a call or drop us an email, and we will check on all of that. Just to make sure that A, we got the FAFSA, and B, if you haven't gotten the email, that we get that to you so that you can sign into your My Aid account. In that My Aid account, you're going to be able to see, yes, we have received the FAFSA. Are there any other documents that we need? If there isn't anything that we need, have we actually packaged you? Because once we do get a financial aid package ready, we will let you know that it's out there for you to go in and review and accept or decline anything that you want or don't want. So it is very important that we take those next steps to make sure that there are either things that need to be done, and we get those done so that you get all set for the fall.
Awesome. Well, that was the last question, Becky. So
Okay.
you're off the hook now. I can move on to
All right.
put Jean on the spot now. So Jean's going to talk to everyone about our Equal Opportunity Program. So Jean, I'm going to hand it off to you.
Sure. Thanks so much, Laura. And thanks, Becky. That was a great overview for financial aid. And actually, the Education Opportunity Program, or EOP, is very closely related to financial aid. So that may be why some of you are tuning in today or playing this on the recording to kind of see if you qualify and how to get into the program, because you may have heard about EOP through your guidance counselor. Possibly you saw some emails that you may have received and it piqued your interest. So I'm here to talk a little bit about the Education Opportunity Program, EOP, and also some of our other opportunity programs that we have on campus, because although some students won't qualify for EOP, they might qualify for our other opportunity programs. So I'm going to sneak those in a little bit too. So first of all, what is EOP? Where did it come from? What does it do? Well, it is a program that was started about 50 years ago to assure that all students, regardless of their economic background, regardless of their race, their ethnicity, their family status, they were admitted into a college education and had the opportunity to fully partake in that education. So that was the genesis of the program, and it's grown since then. The program is run out of the State University of New York, or SUNY, and it is available on various campuses across SUNY. Not all campuses have EOP programs. We're very lucky at FM to have secured a very long-standing program. So we accept approximately 60 students each year into our EOP program. That's the number we're funded to serve. Right now, for the summer, I'll be recruiting heavily, but there are limited opportunities to get into the program. So you might then be asking, okay, so it's this program, underrepresented students, giving students opportunities. So how do I know if I qualify? Well, some of the broad qualifications for EOP are that you need to be a New York State resident for at least 1 year. So if you moved here 2 years ago and you've established residency, then you could qualify. Another key component is that it be your first year in college. So let's say you started 2 years ago at another school. It wasn't a good experience. Now you're coming back into college. That's not your first experience with college. So unfortunately, you wouldn't be able to be qualified for EOP. And then the third way that we qualify students is through an economic chart that lets us know if your family size and income fits into those categories. It's approximately 150% of the poverty level, which I know sounds very abstract, but to give you just an idea, if you have a family of 5, if you're making under $55,815 for your whole family, you would qualify under our EOP program. So again, that is just one of the ways to qualify students. It isn't an important one, but I will have a link later. I believe we're going to have a link to our application that will give you some more details about whether or not you would qualify in those categories. So that's the broad overview of how you would get into EOP. Now you might be asking, well, why would I want to be in EOP? What would it do for me? Well, first and foremost, I feel like EOP provides students who are underrepresented in college with a connection on campus. We provide you support. You would have an academic coach that would help you through your time at FM. You also get additional financial aid. It's not a big sum of money. It generally is about $500 a year, but that often can make a big difference with students and really help students. Also, we provide assistance with textbooks. That's usually about $125 a semester. So textbooks can be a very expensive thing for students when they first come in, and having that little bit of support can really help. But again, I feel most important, what we offer through EOP is that connection. Another thing to think of when you're applying for our opportunity programs, and the thing to consider, is that an important component of EOP and our other opportunity programs is our summer program. Now, that program is required for all new EOP participants. To get into the program, you have to agree to participate in our summer program. Now, you might be thinking, well, there's a COVID crisis in our nation right now. How can I come to campus for the summer? Well, you're in luck. This summer, it's going to be totally virtual, which means it'll be an online program. And the bonus in that is that it will truly prepare students to be ready for college and comfortable with online learning if they need to participate in online learning in the fall. So it really helps students be prepared. A component of that summer program is help with preparing for college writing. We have a college professor who's going to be making sure that your writing is kind of up to snuff and you'll be able to go right into a regular English course in the fall. We also have an instructor who's worked with our technology degree program. She teaches computer applications. She's going to be teaching one of the classes in our summer program that will really help students feel comfortable with all computer applications and really comfortable submitting assignments, reviewing assignments, and being in a learning environment that might not be face-to-face. So you'll be doubly prepared. You'll be prepared for in-person learning as well as online learning. The third component of the summer program is a freshman year experience. I will be one of the teachers in that component, as will our EOP counselor and our EOP coach. We will get you ready to really be prepared for all aspects of college, both the social, the academic, the emotional changes that you're going to be going through as a part of a new college student. So the EOP program is just super awesome, as you can imagine. And this year, because the summer program is online, the powers that be at EOP and at SUNY have recognized that many of our students, especially students who come from income backgrounds where there's not a lot of extra money to buy extra computers for students, the program this year will be providing all incoming freshmen that participate in our summer program with a laptop. Now, that laptop will be yours as long as you stay in EOP in a SUNY institution throughout your college career. Now that's the price of admission right there. I mean, that is just awesome to have that opportunity this year. So you students of 2020 who may be feeling like you're shortchanged a little in the graduation arena, look at the opportunity that you're getting with these extra add-ons to the program this year. So in a nutshell, that's our EOP program, our Educational Opportunity Program. Now, as promised, I was going to sneak in, if I have time, Laura, just a little bit about our other opportunity programs. Our other opportunity programs on campus are TRIO and QUEST. Now, TRIO is a federally funded opportunity program that serves almost the same demographic as our EOP program. Now there, with TRIO, you don't have to be a first-time student. So if you've gone to another school and now you've decided that FM's for you, which it is, we would be able to accept you into TRIO or QUEST. Also, that program, the qualifiers for those programs are that you be either, and these are either ors, so you can be any one of these, either a first-generation college student, which means that neither of your parents obtain a bachelor's degree. So if you have parents that maybe went to FM themselves, or maybe they have an associate's degree, but they never went on to complete a 4-year college degree, you're considered a first-generation college student, and that would qualify you for TRIO services. Another qualifier is the income guidelines. Those are very similar to the EOP guidelines that I just gave you. They're 150% of the poverty level. So I always like to say that if students are getting a lot of Pell and TAP grants to cover their cost of attendance at FM, chances are you're going to qualify for our TRIO and Quest programs. And the third qualifier for our programs are that a student be a student with a documented disability. Now again, any one of these will get you into our TRIO programs. So if you were a student that was in high school and say you had resource room and you needed a little extra help because of your documented disability, you would qualify for admission into our TRIO and Quest programs as well. The services through TRIO and Quest are similar to those through EOP. We work very closely. And the bonus is you can be co-enrolled in both EOP and the TRIO programs. So I'm going to stop right there because I'm not sure how I'm doing on time, so I'm going to look to Laura. But that's just an overarching view of our opportunity programs.
Oh, that's great, Jean. No, we're good on time, so thank you. That was fantastic and so exciting about that laptop. That is,
yeah,
wow, that is really cool. So here's a question for you. If you're an EOP student at FM, does that mean that when you transfer on to the next school, next college, I'm going to go on and get my bachelor's, will I be an EOP student when I transfer? You know, how does that work?
Mm-hmm. That's an excellent question. And it's a complicated answer. It depends on the school and the openings that they have at the time you transfer. However, we make every effort to really network within our EOP community. So for instance, this last December, actually, we had a graduate from FM who was an EOP student, and he was looking to go to SUNY Poly in Utica. And I had a conversation with our EOP director at SUNY Poly at one of our directors meetings. And I was able to secure him a spot in their program. Now, I can't guarantee that every time it will go that way, and there'll be openings at programs at your 4-year school at the time you transfer, but we try to make sure that EOP pipeline follows the student all through their career. So that's a great question.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So you mentioned there's an application. We are going to have that available on the FM website, so students can get that. In conjunction with completing that application, Jean, is it important for students to fill out their FAFSA? Talk a little bit about the...
Yeah, thank you, Laura. Actually, it's essential. You can't be a part of EOP without starting with that FAFSA. As Becky said, that's really kind of like the entryway for all these opportunities. And it's really not that bad. It takes a little time, but then once it's done, you'll say, wow, look at all this opportunity I have because of this. Yes, it's absolutely essential. And depending on your financial situation and what the results are in the FAFSA, I may need, as EOP director, some additional documentation of your financial situation. I would work with you one-on-one for that. So don't worry about that now, but definitely get that FAFSA in, and the sooner the better, because that's fantastic. A big qualifier for the program.
Good. Well, that's great. And with the EOP, do you have to apply for that every year, Jean, or how does that work? Is it like the FAFSA where you submit each year, or how does that work?
That's another great question, and another commonly asked question. In fact, just the other day, I had a second-year EOP student send me another application, and I had a reminder, no, you're good, you're in. So once you are in EOP, no, you stay in EOP. It works the same way with the TRIO and Quest programs. Once we've qualified you, and you've gone through the intake process where you meet the counselors, you meet the coaches, we assess what you need from our program, because again, we're going to tailor it very closely to your individual needs as a student. Once that's done, you're in.
Awesome. I think you said that there are still some seats available for
Yes.
the upcoming fall. So let me ask you this. If by chance the EOP program it does fill, is it possible for you to be in the TRIO program without being in the EOP program?
Absolutely, absolutely. And there have been times because a student may, as I said before, have gone to another college, or maybe they weren't a New York State resident, or maybe they didn't quite meet the guidelines for EOP, or it was filled. You have that backup with TRIO. And again, we work so closely as a program, and really it's seamless that you can, we have students that are in both, but we also have students that are only in the TRIO and Quest programs. And they have their own unique advantages too. We don't have the financial assistance that EOP has, but for instance, with our Quest program, we have one-on-one tutoring that really replicates a resource room for a student, and that can be very valuable for that student. So I guess to sum that up, we try to match you with the best program possible to help you through FM. And the beauty of our one application for our programs is you apply once and we will tell you what you qualify for. So you don't have to apply to TRIO and then apply to Quest and then apply to EOP. It's one application, so you don't have to repeat a lot of that same information over and over again.
Nice. So that's kind of similar to like what Becky had said about, you know, fill out the FAFSA, let us tell you what you're eligible for. It's kind of the same thing with TRIO and EOP. You guys will, you have one application. You'll let the student know what their eligibility is for that as well.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, I'm not seeing any other questions, so I guess that concludes our chat for today. I want to thank Becky and
excuse
Jean
me.
so much. Oh,
Hello?
yes. Do you have a
Yes, this is
question?
Joel.
Joel,
Yeah, I
go
have
ahead.
a question.
Okay.
I applied for the EOP program, but I never got back on it, so I want to know if I was in it or not.
You know, Joe, I'm going to take down your name and we're going to get back to you about that. I will confer with Jean and we will send you an email and let you know exactly where you stand with that, if that's okay.
And
All right, thank you, because
Joel,
I had sent, yeah.
Joelle, I'm just going to jump in. I'm in the process now of reviewing the applications.
All right.
So you will be hearing from us probably by the end of the month, if that helps you. But we do have, the other thing I have to say is we have a large number of applications for our EOP program for a small number of spaces. So we keep trying to get as many students processed as we can, and not to use this as an excuse, but of course this particular year, as with everything, things were in kind of an upheaval and it's been a little bit of a challenge. So I apologize for not getting back to you sooner, but rest assured we will be processing all those applications and you'll hear one way or another, okay?
Also, I got another question. I've been doing this, let's say SUNY Smart Track. It's some course that you got to get 100% on, and I'm stuck on 20%, but I keep getting 80% on the second part, but I think I got to get 100% to go to the next part. So the next
Well,
unit.
yes, you do. That is so you're working on your financial literacy?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you need to get 100%. So you just have to keep reading and answering those questions. All the answers are in the reading and the videos previous. If
Right.
you can't get to 100% on the course that you're taking, try another course.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Joel, just as a follow-up, I'm going to share with Jean your information so that she can follow up directly with you for that as well. Okay, so that you know that we'll get back to you.
Okay. And that's all. That's all.
Okay. All right. Thank
All right.
you.
Have a good one.
You too.
Thank you, Joel.
You too.
You too.
So that does conclude our chat. I want to thank Becky and I want to thank Jean for really fantastic information. And if you're thinking about coming to FM for the fall, we'd love to hear from you. And really the best way to do that is to go to our website, fmcc.edu. You can set up a phone appointment. We can converse via a Zoom virtual call if you'd like, email, or even text messaging, whatever you feel comfortable with. We'd like to know what your career goals are, and we'd like to tell you how FM can help you achieve those goals. We do offer a free application for admission right on our website, again, fmcc.edu. To be accepted at the college, you need to prove either you're a high school graduate or you're going to be graduating this coming June, or perhaps you've earned what's called a high school equivalency diploma, formerly known as a GED. We match that up to your application, we'll get you accepted, and then our team is going to walk you through the next steps, which is going to include financial aid. If you're interested in EOP, all of our opportunity programs like TRIO will certainly cover all the bases with that. But again, if you are interested in starting this fall, please go to our website, and we'd love to hear from you and talk about what your goals are. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye for the day, and thank you again for joining us.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.